When I moved into my first apartment, the only thing I brought into it was a backpack and a sleeping bag. And for 3 nights, I laid on the floor of an empty room, eating Subway sandwiches, watching YouTube on my laptop, wondering to myself why I wanted to move across the country and pay $2,000 a month to be homeless inside of a box for. Anything helps. When I moved into my first apartment, I started filling it with clothes, silverware, books, eventually an honest-to-goodness bed with a bed frame and everything. And that first night I slept on it, sleep started to feel like puberty, something I needed but I wasn't quite ready for. Anything did not help. No matter how I filled my box, the same empty volume remained. When I moved into my first apartment, I sang every note I brought with me, clanged pots and pans, banged out rhythms on cheap wood, and rattled strings that began to seep out through the cracks under the door, pool into a puddle in the hallway, waiting to be discovered by my neighbors like homicide evidence. So I delegated most songs to clutter. In different corners of my bedroom, between 10:30 a.m. and 10:30 p.m. weekdays, some nights I found myself vocalizing into a pillow. Most nights I wouldn't sing at all. When I moved into my first apartment, I spent so much time inside that I became my own chambers. My voice started to sound like my ancestors, ricocheted off the walls forever, reinforced itself into the only tones that remained, sounded like philosophy, who in turn mistook me for scripture or a long-lost husband, father, self. A lot of people tell me I remind them of someone else. Maybe I'm nothing more than a doppelganger, an echo, false copy, phantom dust. That's why I turned to salt when you looked at me and spent months watching you shatter in response. It's no coincidence that cities burning smell like incense, lit sage. It declutters the soul. But I still find remnants of a broken heart in a corner I forgot to clean. When I moved into my first apartment, the people who became my people were delivered in an Amazon Prime package I didn't know I had been waiting for, opened up like a glitter bomb. A cannon blast of blessings everywhere. I can still hear it ringing in my tinnitus, so I can take it with me even after I'm gone. I swore up and down that this must have been a mistake, that they had the wrong address. And maybe they did. And thank God they did. When I moved into my first apartment, the pestilence took my keys and locked us all in from the outside. The 4 corners of the globe became the 4 walls of a box, the distance that had always been between us unflinchingly apparent. It scattered ourselves like echoes. Each self-repetition became more unrecognizable, illegally duplicated monologues fading into a memory of a scream. They told us to Clorox our souls, and I knew how to clean. So I left, molted out of most of my belongings, gift-wrapped them in trash bags until I could finally hear my own mind. And when I moved out of my first apartment, I realized the first thing I brought into my apartment was not a sleeping bag. I just hadn't been counting myself. There is someone who lives here. It is not just a space to fill, cabinets to populate, laundry to unfold. This box is a person to visit. A warm cup of tea, There will be times where I will lie on the hardwood floors of a vacant spirit, squat in a second-hand identity, violate the terms of a monster under the bed clause. But for now, I am so full of myself in all of the right ways.